Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Core Studio. Welcome to the show. How's your day been going so far? Pretty good. It just started snowing here again in Minnesota. Oh yeah, we just got like 12 inches the other day and it's snowing again, but even the snow can't keep me down because you know what? Okay, it's getting old. I'm gonna stop that. I'm not actually from Minnesota originally. Anyways, some exciting cards are coming out today. Final day of March of Machine spoiler season. Some really heavy hitters, and oh my goodness, yeah, I had to read this one a couple of times just to make sure I was getting it right, because I was like, it can't be that easy. There's no way it's that easy. Yeah, it's that easy. This card is just going to, I think, wreck some faces, and yeah, it's got a couple of combo pieces that are incredibly simple and easy, and you're gonna win the game. Yeah, let's get into it. Shalai and Halar back as a team. Not partners, but it's like a partner combination. But it's like, you know, a combined commander. I don't know what they're calling these. Regardless, Shalai and Halar, 3/3 Angel Elf Flying Vigilance, 1 red, green, white. Whenever one or more +1 counters are put on a creature you control, Shalai and Halar deals that much damage to target opponent. Now, hey, when it comes to limiting factors, this really doesn't have many of them. Again, it's just basically, hey, you getting counters on stuff? Great. Let's just dish out damage. And again, I guess the limiting factor here is, yeah, it's not any target. That would obviously be more impactful. Probably doesn't really need that. Again, when you're actually kind of, you know, choosing between, okay, would I like to take out Planeswalkers? That's probably lowest of the rung. I guess Battle is probably lowest of the rung now. Then Planeswalkers, then creatures, then opponent's faces. At least that's kind of how I would like to be able to dish out damage, you know, when you have to, like, pick target selections. Burninating your opponent's faces, yeah, that's an incredibly impactful thing. And yeah, it's very easy to do with this because here's the thing. It's not hard to get +1 counters on your creatures. And this counts all the counters that are going on all your creatures. My goodness, is this going to be triggering a ton in the simplest of +1 counter builds. You could just throw all these miscellaneous +1 counter cards in a deck and you'd still dish out a good amount of damage with this and probably take opponents out. But with a kind of concentrated deck with this, my goodness, is this gross. And again, that's not even talking about the combo pieces, which of course you've got ways to tutor for those combo pieces and get them out into play and then just win essentially on the spot. So yeah, this is gross. This is crazy. This is just, oh my goodness. Again, I had to like read it like 3 times, 4 times, 18. I don't even know what I said, 18 times, whatever it was. I had to read it a ton. Because it was just like that, it's not that easy. It is that easy. Okay, yep. Yeah, oh, and it's only 4 mana. Yeah, you'd think, at least I would think, that a card like this would probably be at least 6, 7? I don't know, not 4. Goodness gracious, is this going to just be a heavy hitter? This on the other side of the table, again, because the potential combos, and also just the, if they're set up properly, my goodness, one card could just get them an absurd amount of counters on things. Maybe they can proliferate that too. Just a proliferate spell. The potential to get taken out by this is absurd. So it is definitely one of those commanders you want to take out sooner rather than later. So yeah, or at least, you know, put something in play that's like your opponents can get counters on things. Like if you're playing Vorinclex, the second Vorinclex, one from Kaldheim, you're probably like, that's not a big deal at all. No counters. Okay, goodbye. Or whatever, half counters, whatever it is. That's how Vorinclex talks. Did you know that? Regardless, on this episode, this is not about me just impersonating Vorinclex in a terrible way. We're going to be talking about budget buys and pricier picks. Budget buys are cards that are less than $1 that I'm going to be considering for this commander. Pricier picks are going to be cards that are more than $1 outside of my budget that if you've got the budget for it, you might want to consider for this commander. Regardless, all these cards will be in a link in the description below. Make sure you check that out at some point. And yeah, consider picking some of those up sooner rather than later, because when exciting cards like this one are spoiled, when exciting commanders like this one are spoiled, some of these cards that work with it, well with them, well, tend to go up in price sooner rather than later. I keep saying that. Regardless, let's jump into the budget buys. So let's start things off with a great card. One that, well, was very budget for a long time, then all of a sudden was not, and then they reprinted it, and thank you for the reprint. Loyal Guardian, a great card. My goodness, this does a ton of work for you in a +1 counters build. 4/4 Rhino with Trample, and it's so friendly. Look, I love you, Rhino friend. I love you too, dude. Anyways, Lieutenant, at the beginning of combat of your turn, if you control your commander, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. Very simple, very effective. I just stumbled on my words right there, and I should have. Very simple, very effective. But yeah, all you need to do is just have this in play, and let's say you've got 5 creatures in play. I mean, I guess 5, except for this one was the math I was going to do. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to get my counters on, and my commanders be like, hit you for 5 in the face just for this happening. And again, this happens on every single turn. The more creatures you have in play, the more counters you're getting. And of course, there's ways to make these counters even more impactful. Moving on, Felidar Retreat. Hey, you're in green, right? Yes. Do you like to play lands? Yes. Do you have plenty of ways to get lands out? Yes. Felidar Retreat's great for you, especially with this commander. Hey, landfall whenever land enters battlefield, choose 1 under your control. Get a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or you get a counter each creature you control as creatures gain vigilance on end of turn. Now, you of course can utilize this to go wide. Get a bunch of lands into play, get a bunch of cats. Then, all of a sudden, you're like, you know what? Let's start getting counters on it. I'm just going to play an Evolving Wilds. Cool, that's a counter on every single one of creatures I control. Let's say you have 10 of them. Again, that's 10 damage from your commander just for doing that. And then you're like, crack Evolving Wilds. Go get another land. Yep, 10 more damage. Yeah, as you can see, this is a bit ridiculous. And again, you're in colors that have ways to make a lot of tokens very quickly. You've got colors that can make a lot of +1 counters on those tokens and creatures really quickly on all your creatures. And yeah, you've also got ways to double up damage too. We're going to talk about a lot of crazy things you do in this commander. Again, I just think the bar for this commander, was set a bit, bar was set too low. I guess what I'm saying is like, they made it too easy to do good things. And I think people might underestimate just how powerful this commander is, and you really shouldn't. Oh, gross. Okay, here we go. Renata Call to the Hunt. A star 3 demigod. Oh, I'm sorry, Renata. I kind of made fun of you the other day. That's why I felt a little awkward right there. I made fun of all the demigods. Anyways, good in this deck. Each other creature you control enters battlefield with additional counter on it. So, even if your creatures aren't entering with counters on them, some will, with certain creatures, but those that don't, everyone gets an extra counter when they come into play, which means that, hey, you're just coming into play. This is kind of like an Impact Tremors in combination with your commander, because it's like, hey, you get a counter. Cool. Ping an opponent's face. Yeah, so you can really get things started. Again, just getting every creature kind of started off with a counter on it too is great for proliferate effects, which we'll talk about here in a bit. And of course, yeah, this Devotion to Green sure can be a heavy hitter as well itself, but regardless, the important thing is being able to get a lot of effects out there that can make it really easy to get more and more counters on things can just really add up and, again, make your commander just hit for an absurd amount on every single trigger. So, next up, Cankerbloom. Yep, like I talked about earlier, proliferating is going to be good with this commander, and hey, Cankerbloom is just a really good card. Yeah, when they printed this, I was like, are you sure this is... it's 2 mana? Okay, it's a 3/2 Phyrexian Fungus for 2 mana. Pay 1, sacrifice it, choose 1, start an artifact, enchantment, or proliferate. Yeah, this is a really good, really flexible card that, again, can just be great removal for you. Again, artifact or enchantment, a decent body at 3/2. And then, hey, yeah, when you're like, you know what? I've got a bunch of creatures and play with a bunch of counters on them. I'll pay 1, sacrifice this, proliferate. Oh, ping you in the face. Oh, you're gone. Sorry, I just paid 1 mana to essentially do that. Yeah, the potential of this commander is just absurd. Speaking of which, Conclave Mentor. Hey, let's make it even more absurd. 2/2 Centaur Cleric. If 1 or more +1 counters to opponent creature you control, that many +1 are put on it instead. And also, for whatever reason, this also needed when it dies, you gain life equal to its power. It did not need that. I mean, it's not bad. It's not overly powerful because of that. But hey, yeah, let's just get extra counters on all of our creatures. Again, we've got tons of ways to get tons of counters on our creatures. Again, like I talked about earlier. Felidar Retreat. That same example. Let's say you have 10 creatures again, which is very easy for a deck like this to do. Again, there's landfall synergies that can work with that too, and you've got plenty of green. Anyways, let's say you've got 10 creatures in play. You play that Evolving Wilds. You get 2 counters on all your creatures now because of this. Oh, cool. So that's 20 damage to someone's face. 20 damage to your face. Crack Evolving Wilds, go get another land. 20 more damage to your face. And again, that's just one example of a synergy, between like basically 2 cards. This is going to be gross. Okay, moving on. Strike the Tazru. You basically can turn certain cards down into just Fireball. Bigger than Fireball, even. Strike the Tazru is a great card in a counters build. Instant for X green with multi-kicker 1. And again, you're in green, so you got plenty of ways to ramp to put a lot of mana into that X and also multi-kick it a lot. Choose target creature, then choose another target creature for each time this spell is kicked. Put X counters on each of them. So hey, let's say you put like 5 mana into that X or whatnot. Okay, cool. Then let's say that you paid 2, 3, let's say 3 into that multi-kicker, all right? That means you get 5 counters on 3 creatures. That's 15 damage from your commander because you're getting those counters on your creatures, and maybe you've got ways to, again, get more counters because of that. Again, the Conclave Mentor or whatnot. The potential of these things is just absurd. And again, this just made it an instant that just comes out of nowhere. Again, like someone's swinging at you and you're like, okay, I'll make my creatures bigger and also ping you in the face for a ton. Gross. Oh, gosh. Oh, and to add insult to injury, see what I did there? That's what the card's name is. Damage can't be prevented this turn. If a source you control deal damage this turn, deals double the damage instead. Now, I will say, in budget, in cards that are less than $1, there are not that many double damaging effects. Damage doubling effects. We got there. I mean, Dictate of the Twin Gods is one that I mentioned on a previous episode. If you haven't seen the episode on Urabrask, make sure you check it out. But regardless, there aren't that many. Still, a double damage doubling effect. Gosh, we got there again. Is a great kind of card for this kind of a deck because, hey, yeah, a very explosive turn can turn even more explosive when your commander is dishing out double the damage and injury. Sure, if you need to ping something, cool. 2 damage to target player, creature, and player. Cool. Anyways, nice. Loxodon Warhammer, a great card, this kind of a commander, because again, it's your commander that is dishing out the damage. Let me triple check. Yeah, let me triple check, just making sure I'm not misspeaking. Yeah, Shalai and Halar are the ones that dish out the damage. So there you go. Yep. +3, +0, trample, and more importantly, lifelink. Now, yes, this does make your commander hit harder, which is nice. And yeah, with this kind of a counter build, you can very easily turn your commander into a 3-shot KO with this and just one simple +1 counter on your commander. A 2-shot KO very simply as well, just a couple more counters on your commander, and maybe even a 1-shot KO. But regardless, that doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but the thing that matters about this card is lifelink. Your commander is the one dishing out the damage. So if you put this on your commander, every single time your commander pings an opponent in the face, you gain a life. Basically, it's every single time you have a +1 counter into the battlefield, you're gaining a life. That's basically what it is. When counters go on creatures, you gain 1 life, and your opponents lose life. So it's basically, I mean, kind of just a really interesting dichotomy there where your opponent's going to be very jealous whenever you get counters on because they're going to be like, you lose and I win. Yeah, it's going to be pretty disgusting. And something else I just wanted to throw out there that you might want to consider as well. Again, if you are doing a go wide strategy with this, which is probably very beneficial, again, because you get more counters on more creatures when you've got those, big wide spells and Loyal Guardian type effects. Hey, Odric Lunarch Marshal. A really, really fun creature. A really, really fun commander, but one that's great in this kind of a deck. It says, at the beginning of each combat, creature control gain. Get ready for it. Here we go. First strike until end of turn if you control a creature with first strike. The same is true for flying, death touch, double strike, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, skulk, trample, and vigilance. I almost got there. Goodness gracious. So basically, hey, whatever kind of, keywords you have on your creatures, for the most part, we're going to spread those out to all of your creatures, which includes, of course, with your commander, flying and vigilance. Hey, would you like creatures that can just swing out at your opponents and probably can't be blocked by most of them? Yeah. Oh, also, your creatures that, you're just building up counters to get them massive, dish out damage, but also they're massive creatures. Now you're giving them a way to get through and also stay back in combat for, blocking too. So, yeah, Odric can be just like an interesting throw-in too. I mean, if you really want to hyper-focus on counters, maybe don't include it, but also kind of gives you another avenue to victory as well, which can just be pretty crazy. And also, keep in mind, again, if you've got, the Loxodon Warhammer on your commander as well, now your creatures have lifelink too. So, yeah, if you've got other creatures in play that have other kinds of keywords as well, can spread those out as well. I mean, like Skulk. It's so funny that Skulk's on here because that's not like I don't think Skulk's like evergreen, but it was in the set that Odric came from. So yeah, it's in there. It's kind of a weird inclusion. Anyways, next up, we're going to be talking about the pricier picks. Again, cards that are outside of my budget, cards that are more than $1, and some that are a lot more. And we're going to start things off with the combo cards now. Okay, so a new card came out that I'll talk about here in a little bit that actually combos with this as well. But yeah, the Red Terror, the price on this is just going to keep going up because now we've got a commander that combos with it too. And again, one that I think is going to be pretty popular. A 4/3 Tyrannid that says whenever a red source you control deals damage to one or more permanents and or players, play +1 counter on the Red Terror. Okay, let's just double check. So your commander, I believe has red in it, right? Yeah, yep, 1 red, green, white. And then your commander's text again, remind me, whenever one or more +1 counters are put on a creature you control, Shalai and Halar deal that much damage to target opponent. So basically what's going to happen is, well, let's just say we have 1 instance of damage. Now let's just say Shalai and Halar actually swing through on one opponent and hit them, right? That would be a red source that dealt damage to an opponent. So Red Terror is going to trigger, getting a counter on it. Then Shalai and Halar are going to be like, I see that counter, and I say, ping opponent's face. Then Red Terror says, I see that, I get a counter on me. Then Shalai and Halar say, I see that, ping. You see the circle that is going on here. And again, literally, I just gave the example of, Shalai and Halar going through in combat. You don't need to even do that. You just need to get a single counter on any of your creatures to start this loop. Infinite damage to all of your opponents, and the Red Terror gets that large based on the amount of damage that you dealt, although it doesn't really matter again because you're not going to need a giant red terror, even if it's a 100. It has to be 199, right? The toughness is slightly less. You caught me on that. But regardless, it doesn't matter how large it is because all your opponents are going to be gone. They are going to be burninated to the ground because, again, this is a very simple, very easy, very effective combo that is going to be pretty hard to stop. Again, once you get this in play, all you need to do is get a simple counter on a creature. Again, just a simple proliferate. You sacrifice your Canker Bloom and you're like, I proliferate that counter. Bam. Your opponents are gone. So yeah, this can be an absolutely great card to combo with this commander. And again, I think its price is going to probably keep going up because, again, it's got another combo. Speaking of which, War Elemental. Red for a 1/1. Enters the battlefield, sacrifice unless an opponent was dealt damage this turn. That's a very easy requirement for this deck to meet. Again, all you need to do is get a single counter on one of your creatures. Then you're like, cool, ping for 1 with my commander and play this. On top of that, whenever damage is dealt to an opponent, put that many counters on War Elemental. Yep. Basically the exact same thing in a somewhat different way with Red Terror. Hey, I damage an opponent with my commander. Cool, counter on this, which makes my commander damage an opponent. You see the circle, you see the cycle, you see your opponents burninating to the ground. Yeah, War Elemental, also a card that's probably going to go up in price as well from the original Mirrodin block, back with the, the Mirrodins and the mirrors. I can't talk. Anyways, Phyrexians, here we go. Moving on. Speaking of Phyrexians, all will be one. Yeah, the named card of the last set. Here we go. Enchantment for 3 red. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, all will be 1 deals that much damage to target opponent, creature opponent controls, or planeswalker opponent controls. First up, I want to mention that I always thought that phrasing was really weird. It's like, why don't you just say, like, basically any target? Well, first, if you can't target your own things for whatever reason, I don't know why. Stuffy doll, sorry. But also, yeah, they, I think, worded it this way because they didn't want you to be able to target battles. Okay. Regardless, hey, this also combos with those 2 previous cards I just talked about, and actually some other ones I'm not going to talk about. I think there's like a Talon card, and then Quest for the Pure Flame. I guess I just talked about them. But yeah, this also comes with those. And yeah, now this also kind of is just a double, copy of your commander in a way. Because you're going to be getting in counters on all your creatures, on all your things, and when you do so, you're going to be like, ping you in the face, ping you in the face, ping you in the face, or actually creatures your opponents control. So you can actually ping their creatures or planeswalkers too. So yeah, another way to burninate your opponents to the ground in a very effective card that, again, is just another combo synergy to have with this kind of a build. Next up, Hardened Scales. Hey, yeah, incredibly effective, incredibly efficient, low to the ground, 1 mana enchantment. If 1 or more counters are put on a creature you control, that many plus 1 are put on instead. Basically like a Conclave Mentor, but better again, because enchantments are harder to deal with. And yeah, getting more and more of these in place, just even better. Just why not? More counters out there. And now if I don't mention Doubling Season, yeah, I will get yelled at in the comments below, like it always happens. Like, you know what, Mitch? You forgot Doubling Season. Okay, well, Doubling Season works with a lot of commanders and a lot of things, and yeah, a commander that wants to get counters on it, great. Yeah, okay, this one says, I just gotta read it real quick. Effect create 1 or more tokens, then double those tokens essentially. If an effect will create 1 or more of those counters, or effect would put 1 or more counters on a permanent you control, double those counters essentially. Double your tokens, double your counters, and yeah, that's going to deal double the damage to your opponents. And also, yeah, again, with a card like Feldar Retreat, when you're making those tokens, you can go wider quicker, you can get more and more counters on quicker, you make creatures more deadly, you make your commander more deadly. Yeah, Doubling Season's a good card. It's very expensive for a reason. Next up, Cathartic Crusade. Okay, so this is pretty gross. Whenever a creature is battlefield under control, you get a counter on each creature you control. +1 counter. Sometimes I shorthand and don't say +1 counter because it's like hard to like say it quickly. Anyways. Hey, every single time you get a creature in play, basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be getting a counter on all your creatures, and then your commander's be like, how many creatures? Okay, 10? Okay, boom, 10 damage to the face. Yeah, this is going to get out of control quite quickly. And yeah, again, in combination with like a Hardened Scales, Conclave Mentor, Doubling Season, all those things, your opponents stand absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. And, okay, I probably should have stopped myself right there. They really stand no chance when you get up Fire Emancipation. If a source you control will deal damage to a permanent player, deals triple that damage to that permanent player instead. Okay, again, your commander is dealing 1 point of damage for every single counter put on creatures. And now it's like, you know what? Let's turn that little boop of damage into a lightning bolt worth of damage for every counter. Yep, your opponents are going to be gone in no time. Again, the synergies that can play in this deck are absurd. You can get an absurd amount of counters on things very, very quickly. And when you do, and you have things like this out, your opponents are going to get taken out in absolutely no time. Speaking of which, again, Been talking about some landfall synergies, and of course there are plenty of them because you are in green, and yeah, you've got ways to get lands into play, unlike every other color, which is like Wayfarer's Bauble, and that's about it. And I love Wayfarer's Bauble. Regardless, Evolution Sage. Whenever a land is battlefield under control, proliferate. Every single time you get a land into play. Again, if you've got counters on all your creatures, let's say you have 10 creatures, you're like, okay, counter on all those, 10 damage. Again, you're cracking Evolving Wilds or whatever, another 10. Basically, again, like the Feldar Retreat, essentially, addition, because this is already just set up. If you got the counters on your creatures, cool. Just double those up, or not double them up, but get even more on. Yeah, proliferating is incredibly impactful with a commander like this. So, yeah, might as well. If you got the budget for it, throw Karn's Bastion in there, too. Tap for colorless, pay for tap, proliferate. This simple land only takes up a land slot in your deck, obviously, and it's going to just be a way to just, yeah, it'd be like, oh, wait, I'm out of cards in my hand. Okay, what do I do? Well, you're at, what, like 5 life? Okay, oh, I got this land here. Okay, cool, I'll activate, you're gone. Yeah, I mean, this is just a very simple way to just have an extra thing that you can just dump mana into and just take your opponents out. It's a great card and one that I wish they'd keep reprinting. Anyways, next up, Shadow Spear. Yep, even better equipment that you can get access to at higher costs as well. Equipped creature gets +1, has trample and lifelink, and also on top of that, permanents you control, or opponents control lose hexproof and indestructible until turn if you pay 1. So a way to kind of, you know, stop your opponent's things from being hard to deal with. And also, yeah, again, +1, nice. Trample, nice. Lifelink, most important right there, because again, your commander with lifelink equals an absurd amount of life gain for you. So have fun with that, and especially have fun if you get out Grafted Exoskeleton. Gross. Okay, here we go. +2/+2. Infect. So, I mean, first up, again, you are in a counters build. You can very easily, I mean, again, this on your commander is what, 5 power for your commander, essentially, right? Your commander has 3 power before that? Yeah, 5/5 commander. Then you could just get, you know, 5 more counters on your commander, which is very easy to do in many ways. And then you could swing an opponent. Again, it's got flying and vigilance. Probably take one player out just with that. Regardless, again, just by getting 10 counters on your creatures or whatever, hey, or 10 counters in total, I should say, that's going to be 10 damage to one opponent. Oh, by the way, that's infect damage, which means that they're dealt in the form of poison counters. So you're gone. Again, basically just saying like, okay, instead of going through like this massive amount of damage I need to deal, it's just like 10 per opponent, which, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a direction you can go if you want to infect out your opponents. There you go. So again, Schleinhalar. I did not expect this. I did not expect this power level. I did not expect the low cost of this commander. I did not expect how easy this is again. It just seems like, I mean, sometimes I complain about limitations on commanders, but other times I'm like, I thought you'd probably put a limitation on this one, and you didn't. And oh my gosh, Wizard, you kinda... I mean, it's just, I mean, I think some players are not going to realize just how powerful this is when they're like, let me pull out my deck. It is a 7. Huh, maybe not. But yeah, this one is going to be one that can take your opponents out incredibly quickly. Again, there's combo potential with it as well. Again, simple cards, like again, Red Terror, War Elemental, you get those in play and you're like, just get a single counter on and it'll just game over. Yeah, so a lot of crazy things that you can do this one. Comment below with your thoughts on it. Again, check out that card list link in the description below if you're excited about this commander, if you want to utilize these cards. Yeah, make sure you check them out. Again, when commanders like this one are spoiled, sometimes cards that work well with it tend to go up in price sooner or later, so make sure you check out that link. Also, if you haven't seen my most recent episode on Rona, Herald of Invasion, check it out. Make sure you find out why I absolutely love this brand new commander. It is a Modal Dual-Faced commander, MDFC, Modal Dual-Faced card commander. I don't know. Anyways, MDFC. And find out which side I like more. Anyways, regardless, make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out my other quick takes. I'm slightly thrown off, as you can see. I just still can't believe the power of this one. Regardless, comment below with your thoughts on it. Stay tuned for even more exciting quick takes and spoilers. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.